Do you like resale value, safety, reliability? Are you extremely reasonable? If so, you know very well what this is, the Honda CR-V. And according to the sales figures, if you drive a crossover, chances are pretty good it's one of these.
There's a new CR-V now. This one is named Carl, and he's totally new and redone from the ground up with a new platform, new tech, a new look, a new cabin, new features, and Honda's first ever standard turbo engine in a crossover. Lots of great new stuff going on here, and thankfully they've kept most of the old stuff, which has made the CR-V so popular too.
CR-V has always been a bit different looking, and this one is just that. It's distinctive to say the least. In fact, the look is one of the biggest changes this year, and that's a good thing. Beyond the new appearance, it's the tried and true CR-V attributes that really grabbed my attention first. Just hop on board, lots of glass around you, great outward visibility, a tall and commanding driving position, and storage, and more storage.
I hopped in here with my wallet, cell phone, MP3 player, camera with lenses, and my GoPro, and my coffee change, and a pack of delicious chewing gum, and it's all right nearby where I can reach it, but totally out of sight. Go ahead, have a look around. So if you're a bit of a neat freak like me, you'll love the way the designers have packed this CR-V once again, full of heaps of at-hand storage with clever bins and cubbies and compartments to let you stay organized and clutter-free on the move.
There are multiple charging ports and plenty of flexibility, so if you're coming into the new model out of an older CR-V, you're going to feel right at home. It's all part of Honda's genius interior packaging at work. There's more of that throughout the cabin. Look at the rear seats and the flat rear floor, so there's no hump chewing up foot space. Headroom to spare for average-sized adults. Seats fold easily to accommodate combinations of gear and passengers, and when you open the tailgate, motorized on this loaded to the eyeballs touring model, you've got a cargo hold that's big and deep and square, and puts the load floor once again at knee height for easy loading of groceries and things and items, and of course the family canine. The driving environment is modernized now, falling in line with other newer Hondas like the new Civic. The tablet-inspired central command system is slick and responsive and has must-have Android Auto functionality, which turns a central screen into your smartphone. This futuristic digital instrument cluster almost resembles something from Star Trek. There's more wood and stitching and leather and contrast, which gussies up the interior for a more sophisticated environment. It's fresh and new, but the overall feel is very familiar and very easily interfaced with. That includes the safety tech too. Click this button and the CR-V helps you stay in your lane with warnings and the ability to self-steer. These buttons control the cruise control following distance. There are radar sensors to watch your blind spots or help you to avoid backing up when traffic is approaching in the laneway behind you. And a backup camera. You'd have to be trying pretty hard to hit anything with this machine. The ride, similar to the last generation CR-V, but a little more fine-tuned. The dampers are firm around the edges with a softer core. Most drivers will find it feels sturdy, comfortable, responsive, and a bit sporty. The CR-V rarely crashes into bumps, cruises smooth highways comfortably, and only sees ride quality degrade drastically on the roughest roads, where some will wish for more softness. It's mostly comfortable most of the time, a little athletic too. Still, I'd advise you include a really rough road in your test drive to be certain you're okay with the full spectrum of the CR-V's ride quality. This new 1.5-liter turbo 4-cylinder gets you 190 horsepower and 180 pounds of torque, and that's the important figure for moving a heavy object like a vehicle. The engine really changes up the way the CR-V feels this year. With all that torque available at a slight throttle press, it's significantly more responsive at lower revs and more refined, since you need far less engine speed to get the CR-V moving. And all of that while using less fuel. In fact, in our time together, Carl drank just 8.9 liters per 100 clicks. That's the best mileage I've recorded in a CR-V, despite all the extra torque. Best of all, the gear-free, shift-free, continually variable transmission is fully programmed to use that torque really well. Here's what I mean. Give it some throttle from a dig and the revs stay virtually stationary as the speed increases. Forget revving up and down through preset gears. By locking the engine speed steady where torque output is rich and allowing the transmission to seamlessly blend between gear ratios to get the CR-V moving, the engine works less so you save fuel, never feel a gear shift since there aren't any, and there's hardly a peep from the engine room. The whole process is so smooth you'd hardly even know your CR-V had a transmission at all. Some enthusiasts don't like this type of transmission, but for the way that 99% of people will drive their CR-V 99% of the time, it's just smooth and seamless power whenever you need it. How's it perform? Well, pushed, it's neither blazingly quick or particularly quiet, and the transmission fakes some sensation of gear shifting for a more natural feel here. Ultimately, this powertrain is the most impressive during gentle driving, where it's easy on fuel and almost undetectable. Other notes, I know a good set of headlights when I see them, and these are one of them. The CR-V Touring gets LED fired light that's bright, white, crisp, and very potent. I usually expect this sort of lighting performance and confidence out of a much pricier luxury branded vehicle. Gripes? Aside from the sometimes rough ride on rougher roads, my big one was with a few parts of the interior, which I wished felt a little more substantial and less flimsy, like the gear shifter and door panels. End of the day, CR-V once again blends clever cabin packaging and design with a commanding driving position, heaps of storage, and an overall easy-to-drive feel that will connect nicely with a crossover shopper after plenty of space and flexibility for their dollar. Though the ride can get busy on rougher roads, and though a few of the cabin trimmings feel a little low budget, this is ultimately, and once again, a must-drive model in the segment, especially when priorities include versatility, fuel efficiency, and a generous helping of the latest in connectivity and safety tech. Other worthy contenders in this segment include the Jeep Cherokee, Subaru Forester, and Toyota RAV4. Thanks for watching.